So in all sports, data is a very important thing, especially now in this century. I've used a lot of data, mostly in the golfing world, but obviously this is very important in football as well. There's definitely kind of multiple kind of forms of data that I'm guessing you've been fed on a daily basis. You've got GPS, you've got IKD strength, you've got hand grip dynamometer strength. You've got so many different things that you can kind of assess. What would you say stood out to you over the years? What's been most important in terms of data?
I don't think that data is massively important to me. It's more for the staff that monitor all the data. Don't get me wrong. There's things that I definitely need to improve on data wise and that will improve my game. But we sort of get fed a lot of data. But again, it's more for the staff. We have fatigue monitor in the mornings after games, which measures all your strength through your groins to your hamstrings to your jump strength. And that will tell you how fatigued you are after games and determine what you're doing training. So it's very important for reducing unnecessary injuries and that sort of side of the game. But I think
So could that really, really change a training session, for example? If they find that you're fatigued from a previous game, then they would really take it easy on you, would you say?
yeah, definitely. I think when we train on Mondays after a Saturday game, the training's very light for the lads who played over 65 minutes anyway. But there might be a case where there's a lad that's very fatigued and his percentage is down on his hamstring strength, say by 20%, then he will probably be kept inside instead of going out on the grass even. And there's little things like that which the staff are really good at for looking after the lads and making sure, like you say, you don't pick up any daft injuries.
So obviously, Josh, you've already mentioned that you play a lot of golf. Um, but one thing that I'd really love to ask you is, do you think that this could have a detrimental effect to football, having a second sport?
Um, I mean, there's definitely positives and negatives to playing, a lot of other sports other than football when you do it full time and it's your profession. But um, I think it definitely can do. Yeah, I mean, there's times where I've played golf maybe on a day off on a Wednesday and I've hurt my shoulder playing golf or things like that, and it's never affected me. Touch wood, it's never affected me in a game or anything like that, and I wouldn't let it. But I would never play golf, say, if we had 2 games in a week, or if I felt like I was fatiguing through games a little bit quickly because of how much I'm doing outside of football. So it definitely can have a detrimental impact if you use it in the wrong way.
And knowing you like I do as well, I know that you never play the day before a game either.
Mm-hmm.
So it is just important to schedule it at the right time, really.
That's literally it. As long as you give yourself enough time to recover from whatever sport you do, because it can actually be quite tiring. And playing golf, carrying your bag around 18 holes, it can be quite tough. But as long as, like you said, you do it at the right time, you never do it the day before a game or even 2 days before a game. I wouldn't really ever play golf. As long as you do it at the right time, then it's absolutely fine. I think.
Have you seen the videos of Carlos Alcaraz, the tennis player, playing golf
Mm-hmm.
recently in between in between matches at tournaments? Like that's quite impressive, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm sure he's only played a few holes and stuff like that. But because I can't see someone like him, playing 18 holes in between a tennis match. But
He was playing with Sergio Garcia at the US Open,
okay,
and
yeah,
well, that's a tough opponent, isn't it? But yeah,
yeah.
I imagine he was having to probably play his best stuff to get anywhere near Sergio.
I'm
But
sure he gave him a few shots, but yeah.
but yeah, no, I agree with you on a whole. I think it's worth having something else for that psychological benefit that it brings. Why should your whole life be dedicated? Well, it is dedicated to one thing, but why shouldn't you be able to do something else?
Yeah, I
At the end
completely
of the
agree with
day.
that. I think for me, it's a massive relief from work. It takes your mind off it completely, which is something that I think I personally, other people, can't forget about football, which is absolutely fine. Everyone's different individually, but I think for me, having golf or having something else to take your mind off work for a few hours is very beneficial to psychologically, and it'll help you maybe recover and go again quicker to get back
Absolutely.
on the saddle.
So just touching on your golfing ability, kind of going on a little bit of a stray here, but you're now down to what is it, a two? Is it a three or a
Yeah, 2.8 handicap.
2.8? And why do you think you are that good at golf. Like, obviously, could be genetics. I know your dad plays a lot, but for me, is it the fact that you're a sports person and you take the sports easier? What do you think has made you so good at two sports?
I think I, I think it's just down to childhood a lot of the time as well. I think I was thrown into a lot of different sports when I was a kid, and I enjoyed every single one of them. There wasn't anything that I didn't like. We've always been a family that's sort of surrounded ourselves with watching sports or playing sports. All times as a kid, we were just always messing about doing whatever. Um, so I think that helps massively. I think watching a lot of it also helps you sort of watch the pros, and you want to replicate Rory's swing or like things like that. I think that helps
What
as
about the
well.
golf YouTube as well? You love a bit of
Yeah, I
that,
love a
yeah.
bit of golf YouTube. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably the only thing I ever watch at home
I
apart
could
from.
see you taking a little bit of a Jimmy Bullard route after football,
I
maybe.
mean, I've got a long way to go to get to his level, but yeah, no, and that's probably something I'd love to do after football. It's different because Jimmy Bullard had like an unbelievable career with and he's got a massive following. He's unbelievable at golf as well. But again, you never know where your career takes you.
You don't. So I think a really nice way to end, Josh, is a message to people, well, kids that are trying to achieve the same as you, but they might be a little bit scared of rejection, if you like, or being released at 13, 14. Um, do you have a message for these kind of kids that are out there trying to make it?
Yeah, I think a massive part of sort of growing as a footballer from a young age is just having self belief. Um, every single footballer in the world will have at some point dealt with rejection. Um, and it's tough, especially as a young. It's tough for parents as well. Especially as a young professional footballer as well. I went through a lot of rejection at my early stage of my career at Preston. I went through some at the age of 9 years old when I was released from Liverpool. Things like that. Even now, there's still times where I'll feel it from whether it's from fans outside of football, whether it's from managers, players, whatever. You will always feel at some point that feeling, which isn't nice, but it just toughens you up as a person. I think you have to grow up a lot quicker in the world of football. You sort of chucked into an environment at the age of 17, 16, 17, 18 into a professional environment, and there's a lot of pressure on it. There's especially for these lads at these big clubs and stuff like that, there's a lot of pressure on your performances. But yeah, I'd just say it's self belief. Always believe in yourself. It's a long road for families to take children. I know my dad's and my mum who've travelled across the country with us, that they've been through a lot with us as well. Seeing me upset as a kid, and it's just something that is part of football. But I think you've just got to make sure that you're resilient enough to get through it and always have that self belief.
So Trent Alexander-Arnold set up an academy for footballers that don't make it called the After Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know much about this?
No, I've not looked into it as such yet, but I know it's on the PFA website, and they provide a lot of amazing stuff for lads like us, and also lads who have been in the game and haven't quite made it.
I think it's a great concept because there's not a lot of guidance for people out there that don't make it, so to speak. So I think the fact that Trent's gone down this route is pretty great, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it's tough for lads, who have dedicated the whole life to something, and get to the age of 19, 20, 21, whatever, and end up falling out of the game, which is something that happens all the time. But it's tough because you're competing against people for jobs who have maybe dedicated their life to become an accountant or to become whatever, and this is something that you want to get involved in with no prior experience and no degrees. So it's something that is brilliant. It provides opportunities for lads who don't quite reach the levels to become a professional footballer or to maintain being a professional footballer, and it gives them opportunities outside of football, which is brilliant.
Yep. So on a whole, would you say, as a final message to kids out there that are trying to achieve what you've achieved, would you say kind of don't think about worst case scenario, just to aim for the stars kind of thing?
Yeah, just shoot for the stars. You dream and dream big. You've always got to have a goal in mind. You've always got to have something that you want to achieve, or want to aspire to get to. And you have to do that to keep you motivated and keep you going in football. It's important for young players to make sure that they have goals of playing the Champions League or the Premier League, whatever, and no goals too small. You look at lads like the lad who plays for Notts Forest now, Elliot Anderson in midfield. He was playing League Two football or League One football on loan a couple of years ago, and now he's playing Premier League and playing for England. So football can change dramatically and very fast as well. So it's just about making sure that you always believe and always put yourself and give yourself the best opportunity to achieve your dream.
Love that, Brill. Perfect. Thank you for your insights today, Josh.
Thank you very
much.
It's
been a great episode. I'm sure we'll get lots of views on this one. Everyone that's got a slight interest in football should hopefully be watching. Perfect. Thank you very much, Josh.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.